Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 7-Minute AE Tutorials, where you learn tips, tricks, and shortcuts in 7 minutes or less. No BS, just AE. This is a very special episode. For those of you who follow my channel, you may have noticed that I haven't uploaded an episode in a few months. The reason for that is because I've been producing my first Udemy course that is all about shape layers in After Effects. It's a comprehensive course, and if you take it, you'll know everything you need to know about how to create and use shape layers. In that spirit, I wanted to upload one of the tutorials from that course. This is just an example of what you'll be learning in my Udemy course, The Power of Shape Layers, coming very soon. This tutorial is a little longer than our usual 7 minutes, but well worth the extra few minutes. Okay, so we're going to create an icon using shapes, and I'm going to use Merge Paths as a device to show you some really cool things that you can do with the icon creation in After Effects to kind of give it a little bit more life or to make it a little bit more stylized. So let's right click in this area to the left of our timeline, new shape layer, and I'm going to be creating some groups and naming them. So just follow along with me here and do what I do. So we're going to add a group, and then that group we're going to add an ellipse, and let's give that a fill and a stroke. And we're going to be creating a camera, by the way. So let me just go ahead and name this camera. Let's name this group 1 lens. Let's increase the size of this ellipse path. Let's make the fill like a lighter kind of blue. The stroke, if you grab the eyedropper and just click on your fill, so it's the same color blue, but then darken a little bit. I do that quite a bit. Like if I want to stay in the same color family and I want just either a brighter or lighter shade of a color, that's one way of doing that. Just grab the eyedropper, click the color you already have, and then darken it or lighten it depending on what you need. Highlight contents here, and then let's add a second group, and this is going to be our body. And so under body, we're going to add a rectangle, and we're going to give that rectangle a fill and a stroke. Uncheck this rectangle path size, this link here, so that way we can manipulate our size horizontally and vertically. So we want to be more of a wider rectangle. We don't want to be quite a perfect square. And let's change this body. It can be any color, really. I'm going to do maybe like an orange. And the stroke, I'll just do the same thing. I'll choose the body color and then darken it a little bit. Maybe make this stroke 10 pixels wide so it kind of shows up better. Let's go back to contents and let's add another group, and we'll call this the flash. So within there, we're going to add a rectangle and a fill and a stroke. And so let's move flash up, position it about where, you know, your little clicker would be. I'm going to make it this orange color, but maybe give it a little bit darker fill so that way it stands out more. And again, I'm going to choose that orange and darken it. Make this 10 pixels wide as well. This is what we have so far. Okay, so now for this flash body, I want to add a little bit of a topper to this right here. With rectangle path highlighted, I'm going to Control D to duplicate that. I'm going to unlink the top rectangle path size so I can go wider and skinnier, something like that. Okay, and this is a time when merge paths would come in useful. See how I have these two shapes and the stroke goes around both shapes? Well, I only want the stroke to go around the entire piece here. So with flash highlighted, let's just add a merge paths. And see, immediately it pops right out. And that mode is set to add. So see, that's without it and that's with it. So this is one of those times that merge paths comes in very useful. I'm just going to kind of resize this a little bit to kind of get it more like what I'm wanting. I'm just kind of adjusting the scale of this and the position. And now see, I can move this flash actually down. So with flash highlighted, see, I have transform properties for this group. I can animate that where it clicks down now too. So this is our basic body. It's not a great color scheme. Let me actually kind of play with the lens color here so that way it's a little bit more pleasing to look at. Stay in the orange family here. Let's increase this lens size so it's a little bit larger. I want to add like a little reflection in here on our lens. So one way of doing that, let's add another group. And now keep in mind, groups are always added to the bottom of your list hierarchically. So see how this group came underneath flash? So sometimes you may need to move your groups around. In this case, I do. So I want to add a reflection. So move group 1 above lens and type reflection. And then for reflection, we're going to add an ellipse and a fill. And we want that fill to be white. Highlight ellipse path and Control D to duplicate it. And with reflection highlighted, let's add a merge paths. And that, see, it goes right in between our shapes and our fill here. I want to have kind of a curved shape here for this reflection. And the way I'm going to do that is selecting mode under merge paths, we're going to choose subtract. And now see, they both disappeared. And the reason why is because neither one of these ellipse paths have moved yet. So they're right on top of each other. So as I start to move this over, see, we start to kind of see what I'm going for here. If I click away, we can kind of see how it's like a half moon. So now let's highlight reflection and open up the transform properties for reflection. And we can put this anywhere we want. And we can even adjust the scale of it. If we go into our fill under our merge paths, let's decrease the opacity down to about 50%. So it's very light. So it's just kind of like a little bit of a reflection there. Actually, maybe we can move it over to the other side. It may look better over there. And now, so if we Control Shift H to get rid of all of our lines, that way we can kind of see better what we're doing. And I'm going to be moving around the position of this ellipse path too, to kind of see how I want this to look exactly. Now I'm just kind of messing with the position of ellipse path 2. Now I want to make some buttons over here, and I want them to be two-toned. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and add another group. We're going to move this group to the top, and we'll call this button. And we're going to add an ellipse and give that ellipse a fill. And again, let's change this color. So eyedropper, we'll choose the orange, but we want this to be a lot darker. Transform properties for button, let's move it over to this side of the camera. With button highlighted, let's add a rectangle. And now you want the rectangle and ellipse to be the same size, or they both default to 100 pixels. That's fine. With button highlighted, let's add in a merge paths. And we want to set this to subtract. Okay, now let's move our rectangle path over so we get kind of like a half circle here. Hit Control Shift H again to get our lines back. We can make more precise measurements here. So now we have half of a button. So I want the button to be two-toned, and I'm sure you've seen this in some icons, and this is one way of doing it. We'll call this button left. With button left highlighted, Control D to duplicate it. We'll rename this button right. Let's open up button right. We're going to change the fill of this to something a lot lighter. To make this two-tone, all I have to do is move this rectangle path the same number of pixels in the opposite direction. So see, we're at 49.4. Let's make it 50. Button left for our position, let's make that 50. And then let's make our position for button right -50. So see, now we have a two-tone button. So again, the way I did that was I added a merge paths with the rectangle on the bottom, and I moved the rectangle path 50 pixels to the right. I duplicated that, changed the color of it to something lighter, and then moved the rectangle path -50 pixels. So that way it's the same exact measurement away from the center point. Highlight contents, and let's add in another group and move it above our buttons. And let's just rename this button. Now we can bring button left and button right inside of that group. One thing to keep in mind is as you create these shape layers, your anchor point is always going to default to the middle of the shape layer itself. So if you hit Y, we'll see that our anchor point is still in the center of our shape layer, despite the fact that we moved our shape layer over in this area. Select Y for the pan around tool, and with button highlighted, just grab this anchor point and pull it over, put it right here in the middle. Decrease the size of that button and it will move uniformly. This coloring needs to be a little bit better, so let me make some adjustments here. They're just slightly darker. A lot of icons are going to have this look where it's two-toned, split down the middle, one side is shaded. And we can do the same thing with the body. Okay, so with the rectangle path for body highlighted, let's Control D to duplicate it, highlight body, and then we're going to add a merge paths. So that will put it between our shapes and our attributes of stroke and fill. Let's choose the mode for subtract. As we see, our both rectangles disappear because they're on top of one another. So now let's move rectangle path 2 over to about the middle point. And then if we duplicate the body again, open up our second rectangle path and move it -500 pixels. And now we can change this color to something slightly different. So now our camera kind of has that two-tone where it's darker on one side and lighter on the other side. And this is something that's not completely necessary, but if you kind of want that two-tone color, this is an easy way to do it. So let's highlight our flash. I just want to show you something that's kind of cool real quick. Open up our transform properties for flash. Let's put a keyframe for position. And if you shift page down one time, it goes 10 frames. We can move that down there, Control Shift page down. Copy this keyframe, Control C, and then Control V to put it back. Highlight all these keyframes, right click, and choose Easy Ease. Maybe move this over about a second or so. If you watch it, that's how we can click it. You can set some keyframes to click that, and see this group controls the flash body. Okay, and let's do something interesting with this button over here whenever our camera clicks down. So let's open up both button right and button left, and we want to focus on our fills here. You want to make sure this is lined up with the keyframes for the animation of your flash. Let's put a keyframe for color on both of these. Move forward to where this keyframe is lined up. Change colors. So let's make this maybe bright orange and make this maybe a white. And then we come back to the end of the animation, and we just want to copy these initial keyframes so that way the first and last keyframe are the same. And as you see, as we go through, it kind of has a flash. So we'll watch it. As it clicks, it flashes. You may want this to go a little bit quicker. If you highlight the layer and choose you can see your keyframes. You can pull these a little bit closer together. And I would make all of these easy ease. Right click, easy ease, or F9. If you watch it, so we have a camera that clicks, flashes, and there you go. So this is a very, very simple icon of a camera, and this is one way to animate it really quickly. You can see how using merged paths came in very useful to create the reflection and to create this two-tone button over here, and even to create our flash button. So as with every other feature of shape layers, I highly recommend that you experiment a lot with merge paths, look up other tutorials, go a little crazy with it and see what you can come up with. The more time you spend with it, the more used to it you'll be, and you'll be more confident in using it in your shape layer animations. I hope this helped you out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm including the project file in the description below. And don't forget to be on the lookout for my Udemy course, The Power of Shape Layers. I'll be advertising it here, and I will let you know as soon as it's uploaded and ready to watch. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.